I learned the truth about my 40-year career on a Tuesday morning. Not during a meeting, not during my retirement lunch, but 4 days after I left, I had forgotten a paperweight in my office. A small glass one, a client had given me years earlier. It wasn't worth much, but it had been sitting on my desk for almost a decade, and something about leaving it behind bothered me. So I drove back to the building. I walked through the lobby where I had walked thousands of times before. Same security desk, same elevators, same quiet hum of fluorescent lights. Only this time, nobody nodded when I walked in. Nobody recognized me. That was the first strange feeling. But the real one came when I reached my office door. It was open. Inside, sitting at my desk, was a man I had never seen before. Maybe 32 years old. Sharp suit, perfect haircut. He was leaning back in my chair, laughing into the phone. My chair, my desk, my office, and the photo of my family that had always sat beside the lamp was gone, moved, set off to the side like something temporary. I stood there for a moment, waiting for him to notice me. He didn't. To him, I wasn't the man who had spent 40 years climbing the floors of that building. I was just an old man in a cardigan standing in the doorway. Finally, he looked up and said, "Can I help you?" I told him I was just grabbing something I had left behind. He nodded politely, went right back to his call. That was the moment I realized something that took me 40 years to understand. Companies don't replace people slowly. They replace them instantly. 4 days, 40 years of work, 4 days of memory. That's the exchange rate. I've lived in this house for 32 years. But if I'm honest, for most of that time, it wasn't really a home. It was a pit stop. A place where I showered, changed clothes, and slept between work days. My wife Martha used to joke that the office saw me more than she did. Back then I thought that was funny. Now the house is quiet. Too quiet sometimes. Martha passed away 4 years ago. The kids have their own homes now. Their own families. Their own lives. Which is the way it should be, I suppose. Still, when a house goes from full to silent, you start hearing things you never noticed before. The refrigerator humming, the clock ticking, the wind pushing softly against the windows at night. When you're busy, you never hear those sounds. All you hear is the office. Phones ringing, printers running, footsteps in hallways, urgent voices saying things like deadline and quarterly numbers. That was my world for 40 years. I started at the company when I was 24. I was hungry, not for money at first, for recognition, for the feeling that I mattered. I wanted to be the man who solved problems, the one people called when something was falling apart. My father used to say something to me when I was young. He said, "Son, if you're loyal to a company, they'll be loyal to you." He believed that with his whole heart. His generation had companies that gave you pensions and handshakes and watches after 30 years. But the world I entered was already changing. I just didn't see it. In my 30s, I became what they called a rising star. Promotions came quickly, titles got longer, the office got bigger. I started staying later, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10. At home, Martha would keep a plate warm for me. I'd eat standing at the kitchen counter while reading emails. She would say, "The kids asked where you were tonight." And I would answer the same way every time. "I'm doing this for them." That line sounds noble when you're 35. I was in Chicago finalizing a merger. She blew out the candles without me there. I called from the hotel room, told her I'd make it up to her. On the flight home, I bought the biggest stuffed bear I could find in the airport gift shop. Cost more than the ticket upgrade. At the time, I thought that bear fixed something. Now I understand what it really was. A bribe, a soft toy in exchange for a memory I didn't show up for. She's 40 now. We talk, we're polite, but there's a distance there. Not anger, just space. The kind that grows slowly when someone misses too many small moments. And I missed a lot of them. Soccer games, school plays, Sunday dinners. I was building what I thought was a legacy. Turns out I was just building quarterly reports. Step away even for a day, the whole machine might stall. I believed that for decades. I believed that if I didn't fix the logistics issue, or negotiate the contract, or stay late reviewing projections, something terrible would happen. But the truth is much simpler. Machines don't care who operates them. They just keep running. You leave, someone else sits down. The machine continues. We had just landed the largest contract our division had ever secured. My boss clapped me on the back and called me a titan. I drove home that evening feeling like a king. When I got there, Martha was in the garden pulling weeds from the flower beds. I launched straight into my story. Margins, revenue, negotiations. She listened for about 30 seconds. Then she said something simple. "That's wonderful, Arthur. But did you remember to call your brother today?" I hadn't. It was the anniversary of my mother's death. I had been so busy celebrating a business victory that I forgot I was a son. Standing there in my expensive suit, I suddenly felt very small, but not small enough to change. That came later, beginning of the reward. Mine happened at a steakhouse. They toasted me, called me irreplaceable, gave me a plaque. We drank wine, took pictures. Everyone said the same thing. "We'll miss you around here." I went home that afternoon around 3. Sat on the couch, waited for my phone to buzz, for some urgent problem only I could solve. It never happened. Not that day, not the next one, not the one after that. And 4 days later, there was a 32-year-old sitting at my desk. I didn't actually know how to live outside my job. I didn't know the names of my neighbors. I didn't know where Martha kept the spare light bulbs. I didn't know what people did with a free Tuesday afternoon. Work had been my identity. Without it, I felt like a man who had walked out of a building and forgotten who he was supposed to be. So I tried to catch up. Martha and I started traveling. Italy, France, places we had always talked about. But something strange happened during those trips. I realized I was traveling with a woman I had been married to for 40 years, but only really knew for about 5 of them. We had to learn each other again. Conversations felt awkward at first, like two people reintroducing themselves. And then she got sick. Hospitals have a way of stripping away illusions. Titles don't matter there. Neither do plaques. I sat beside Martha's bed for weeks. For the first time in decades, I had nothing scheduled. No meetings, no flights, no calls, just time. And I would have traded everything I ever earned to go back and spend that time earlier. One night she squeezed my hand and whispered something that still echoes in my head. "You're finally here, Arthur." She meant it kindly, but it cut deeper than any insult I ever heard. Finally here, after 40 years, after the children grew up, after life had already passed. All this effort is temporary. That once the promotion comes, once the mortgage is paid, once the kids are older, then you'll slow down, then you'll be present. But the after you're waiting for, it's in my basement. Sometimes I look at it. It used to represent everything I worked for. Now it just looks like wood and plastic. My real life wasn't in that plaque. It was in the moments I almost missed, the dinners, the conversations, the quiet mornings I was too busy to enjoy, time in the garden. I've started learning the names of birds, things I never noticed before. The company is doing better than ever, I hear. Record profits last year. They didn't mention me in the report. Why would they? I was just a light bulb. And when a light bulb burns out, nobody holds a ceremony. They just screw in another one. We're already successful. If your children still want to talk to you, you have already won. Don't trade those things for titles that can be erased in a single afternoon. I gave 40 years. The company gave me 4 days. That was the deal. I just don't have anywhere urgent to be. I just wish I had understood earlier that the only place I ever truly needed to be was home.